Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the show. Today, we have updates on many different things, including the breaking of the channel references here on YouTube, chargebacks against this channel, as well as the ongoing Helldivers 2 controversy that we've been talking about over the last week. Plus, it is only a half day of streaming today. We'll talk about why, and also a big update here with my Another Crab's Treasure playthrough. So all this plus game news and more coming on today's episode of the Level 1 Podcast. Alrighty, everyone. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing well. Happy Monday. It is a new week, and it is a new day here on DSPGaming. Today, it is all about Another Crab's Treasure, a fun Souls-like I've been playing for the past couple of weeks, and I'm enjoying more and more the more I play it, especially with the update I'm going to do to the game today, which we're going to talk about in a moment. Today's Monday, the 6th of May, 2024. You may have noticed it looks very bright in here. That's because outside we have full sun today, and also, it's very windy, so it's actually blowing my blinds in on the room here, and the sun is coming through the blinds, screwing with my lighting. And there's really nothing I can do about that. I can't keep the blinds in place during a super windy day. All I could do is go over there and try to push them back into position. And that only works to some extent. FYI, there's going to be hot weather coming here in Washington this weekend, summer-like weather in the 80 degrees Fahrenheit or higher, which means this office, if I don't do anything, will probably be almost 100 degrees. I'm not going to do that. So on my day off this week, I'm actually going to install all the air conditioning in the house, and it looks like we are going to be heading into air conditioning season. It is what it is. I tried my best to hold off this year as long as I could. We actually did get a little bit longer. There have been some years where I've had to put in the air conditioners as early as mid-April. But we got at least to around mid-May, so it is what it is, right? Okay, so we have a lot of stuff to talk about today, guys. Mostly a bunch of updates on topics we've already discussed previously on the show. And so I'd like to get you all updated on the channel address issue here on YouTube, which I talked about at length yesterday. The status and update on some chargeback situations here on the channel. As well as a big positive update with the Helldivers 2 situation we've been talking about over the last week, plus all kinds of other stuff going on in the gaming realm of news. So we're going to have a decent variety show here today of topics to cover, all right? So let's talk, shall we? And by the way, good morning, everyone. A lot of people are coming in saying good morning. How you doing? I'm doing good, thank you. I appreciate that. Let's just jump right into the first topic, which is a direct update to something we talked about yesterday. Okay, so yesterday right here on the show, I gave you guys an update about this weird situation going on YouTube with the names of channels and how you access them with the web address. So for example, this channel is DSPGaming. Now, because DSPGaming has been around since 2010, that's 14 years, it has one of the legacy YouTube channel addresses, meaning you could just go to youtube.com/DSPGaming and you're here. But if you go to any other YouTube channel that was made in the last 10 years, they don't have those cool direct addresses. What they have are big gibberish addresses that are youtube.com/channel/65421-_G2756. It's nonsense. And you'll never know that. You'll never know that web address for any channel. So what you need to do is find a way to shortcut it. So you bookmark the channel, you subscribe to the channel, right? But what they did is, in the last few years, they took channel names and started giving them and then your channel name. So, for example, on Twitter, you have They Call Me DSP is my Twitter account. That's how you can find me on there. They started doing the exact same thing here on YouTube with this new handle system. But what we found is that in the last few days, YouTube somehow broke the system. They updated the code to the website, and now when you type in youtube.com/@DSP Throwback, you get a channel page error. It was actually a 404 error, And it's like, why the hell are you getting a 404 error? That's obviously there's an issue, right? By the way, I'm just ignoring all nonsense in the chat. If anyone has problems, if anyone has issues that has nothing to do with the content, you have to email me. I don't talk about this shit live on a stream. So I'm just banning anyone trying to derail my podcast right now. And if you have a serious issue, email me. Okay. Anyway. So with all that being said, let's continue now because I got distracted by people in the chat trying to be stupid. So if you go to youtube.com/@DSP Throwback, for example, my throwback channel, it would give you a 404 error like the page didn't exist. Now, is that true? No. The page exists. You can still access it. All the videos are live. They're all monetized. Everything's working. And you can even find DSP Throwback by searching on YouTube. But you just can't use the @channel reference for some reason. So I talked about this yesterday, and I said, hey, everyone, FYI, if you have a bookmark or you have a link, change it, because sadly, it ain't going to work right now. YouTube broke their @references. I did it myself. I went through all my different bots and, like Nightbot programming and stuff like that, and I had to change all the commands. On the main channel page of each of my channels, it was referencing the other channels, and those links were broken. So I had to change those links around, okay? So big mess, basically. Big mess that they created. And so that was the status as of yesterday. And I said, gee, I hope that they fix it. So this morning I go to test it again. Get this. Now the DSP Reacts channel link works again. So you can type youtube.com/@DSP Reacts and you'll get to DSP Reacts. It works. But it still doesn't work for the Throwback channel. But now you get a different error. Now, instead of saying, what you'll do is you'll type in youtube.com/@DSP Throwback. And what happens is that YouTube automatically then tries to take you to youtube.com/DSP Throwback without the @ symbol. And now you get an error that says that page doesn't exist. So it's no longer a 404 error like yesterday. Now they changed the error to being a that page doesn't exist error. So they're doing something. They changed something within the last 24 hours because the React channel has been repaired, but not the Throwback channel. And again, this is not just my channels. This is an issue that's been all across YouTube that with various channels, and some people are affected, some people aren't. There's various different degrees of being affected. It's really stupid. So I don't know. Hopefully they do fully fix it, soon. It seems like obviously they're doing something to work on it, or else it would have not even changed this morning for the React channel. So fingers crossed. Let's hope that they fix that. Okay. So there you go. That is one thing going on. All right. Now, the other thing that I want to give you all an update on is in regards to chargebacks on this channel. All right. I mentioned this last week because it hit me pretty hard last week. Right in the middle of last week, I received over $200 of PayPal chargebacks for tips from back in April. Okay. This sucks because when chargebacks happen, you half the time cannot really do anything about it. It depends on so many different factors. The nature of the chargeback, the size of the charge, how the actual tip was given, like what financial institution was involved, the nature of the chargeback, because there's different ways things can be charged back. So I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of it because you guys don't need to know that at all. And quite frankly, the less publicly known, the better, because you don't want idiot trolls out there to try to figure out ways to do it, right? But basically, it hit the channel hard last week. It sucked. But you guys rallied, and I had a solid last few days of streaming last week. And overall, I can tell you, it hasn't been that bad. Hopefully, it won't impact the channel that badly at all. But now, just so you guys know, I've gotten wind from somebody else who has been kind of monitoring the situation that, of course, my detractors are so stupid, they can't just do something without publicly talking about it. Because that would be like, smart. You understand? They always have to brag about what they're doing to hurt me, even if it's an outright crime. Now, don't worry, they'll never get prosecuted for it because they're anonymous on the internet, which is the only reason why they do this shit. They're pussies, okay? But, yeah, they brag about it and talk about it all the time. They're just so dumb, all right? In this case, the reason I'm bringing it up is because they are actually planning more chargebacks, and they are actively trying to hurt this channel by making it look like it's doing better than it is. So allow me to explain, okay? You may have noticed this last week already, we're 3 days into the streaming week, correct? You may have noticed that in the last few days, I've hit a bunch of tips goals. All right. Now, I'm not saying that that's abnormal or anything. Sometimes I hit tips goals around here. But I'll be honest. Yes, yesterday, as I'm doing my React streaming day, which is a thing that I'm going to update you all on because it went pretty well, I'm wondering how it's going to go. And then all of a sudden, I start getting tips during the streams, some of which are people I recognize, some of which are people who are kind of newcomers from the last few weeks, but they've been a good part of the streams. And then I start getting tips that are completely anonymous. No name attached, no message attached. Nothing. And a tip comes in like that, and you don't know what to do. I mean, I'm not going to discredit it. I'm going to shout it out and say thank you. But you never know if those are legit or not. Sometimes they're completely legit. It's just a viewer who wants to contribute but doesn't want to shout out because they're afraid of harassment on the internet or getting doxxed. And they're like, I'm just going to do it anonymously. Perfectly fine. And I totally understand that. And I really appreciate that because that helps things a lot and it keeps you safe. But at the same time, you have to be skeptical, right? When you're getting those kind of contributions, and you're like, I don't know if this is going to be real or not. You know, you count it, you shout it out, you say thanks, but you never know what's going to happen with the chargeback. So basically what's happening is this. If you haven't noticed the last few days, there's been a few days when I'm hitting either the $50 or $100 tips goals. And even to some extent, the other day I had the vest on and everything. It was like crazy over the top levels of support, right? So what's happening is these morons are now publicly saying, They did this on purpose. They're coming to various streams and dropping a $20 tip here, a $30 tip here. Someone even said they did a $50 tip. And it's all anonymous, and they're planning on charging it back later. Now, you might say, well, I don't get it. Why would they even bother doing that? All it does is it makes it look like you're doing better, and you get perks, and everyone's happy. Well, here's what they're doing. They do it on purpose because when it looks like I'm doing good on a stream, other people who are legit supporters might say, oh, okay, Phil's doing all right today. So I don't need to really contribute today. I'll come back later in the week and see if it's a slower stream, and I'll help them out there. In fact, no exaggeration, a fan actually wrote me an email and said that's exactly what happened this week. There was a stream where they were coming by and they actually liked the stream and they wanted to support, but they saw that I had already hit all the tips goals. They said, all right, I'll hold off. I'll come back later in the week. And then come to find out, these detractor idiots are bragging publicly, oh yeah, I tipped on that stream, and I'm going to just charge him back later in the week. So he would have gotten more, but we screw him over now. You see? So that's what they're doing. They're basically trying to make it look like I'm doing better than I am. So that way, people are fooled, and then they hit me on the back end. All right? Why am I telling you this? Because I just want you to be aware that it's happening. I'm not asking for anything. I'm not asking for any change in behavior from you whatsoever. I just want you to know that this is going on actively, and that when you see things going on YouTube, it's not always as it appears. You know, a lot of these people say, oh, I track every single dollar that comes in from a content creator, and so I know that they make this and this and this. It's totally untrue. There's always a behind-the-scenes world of chargebacks, fees, all kinds of stuff going on. Half the time, anyone who's tipping me less than, say, $5, I'm getting significantly less than what you're even seeing. Remember that PayPal has a flat fee that they take per transaction plus a percentile of each transaction. If you tip me $1, I get like 60 cents, if that. It depends on where you're from, what region. So there's all these factors involved. And then I do get chargebacks all the time. I really do. I just don't talk about them publicly. But the reason I brought it up last week is because it's very abnormal to be getting that much of a hit of a chargeback all at once. And yeah, that definitely hurts the channel when it happens. Okay? So FYI, don't make judgments just based on what you see up front, because it may not be true. Just saying, and listen, to the person who wrote me that email, I really appreciate that message, because now I know what's going on. And absolutely now I kind of understand the nature of what's happening and why they're probably doing it. Well, hopefully talking about it like this and spreading awareness, at least we'll have some people, know what's going on. And hey, if you come by and you like the content, please support it. And, if you want to hold off on supporting, you could do that too. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but just be aware that what you see isn't always what you get, right? We may be having a great time on a stream, celebrating with perks and having a good time, and we'd be looking silly in a vest and a hat and going, having a great stream. And the next thing you know, later in the week, it all got taken away from me. And that sucks. And I'm not saying that's happened yet. It hasn't, but it very well could. And again, if these idiots weren't so dumb to publicly talk about and announce what they're doing, I wouldn't even know. but they're so dumb, they literally do. They post it on Kiwi Farms. They talk about it on Discords and in video comments and shit like that. I mean, they're moronic. They just can't get enough of bragging about committing crimes. Because when you commit a fraudulent chargeback, it is a crime. You have actually broken the law. That's the fact that it's not prosecuted on the internet doesn't mean you didn't commit a crime. It just means you got away with it. Okay. Okay. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about that and get it out of the way, and now we did. Okay? So speaking of yesterday, yesterday was my weekly react day, meaning no gameplay, but instead me reacting to the content all over the internet on the DSP versus the Internet clip show, and then, of course, doing a retro react to the Walking Dead Telltale series on the Throwback channel. It went pretty good. Now, listen. My react days do not get as much attendance as my gameplay days, but overall, we've got a good crowd of people who really enjoy the content. We got a good group of supporters on the React channel that are all channel members that submit those clips every week. And it was a good variety show yesterday. Like, I really, really enjoyed. Again, this is the sun, guys, coming through my blinds. That's why the lighting is going up and down. I can't help that. It's windy and sunny outside. But yeah, like, it was a really, really good variety show yesterday. I had a great time with the show, and I really liked the content that you guys submitted. So thank you for that. You know, 2 parts, actually, as of this morning, 3 parts of that should be live, and another 3 should be going live over the course of the week over on DSP Reacts, which I can now say you can access at youtube.com/@DSP Reacts because they restored the link. So I hope you'll give it a look and consider becoming a member over there. Because if you're a member at the submissions or ultra tier, those are the people who submit the clips that we watch on the show, and that's why the show ends up being so good. So please consider it, okay? Now, last night, on the Throwback channel, which I can't give you the link for because it doesn't work. Just search for DSP Throwback on YouTube. We did a very fun retro react stream of The Walking Dead Season 1. We got through most of Episode 4. Episode 4, by far, is the longest episode in the entire season. It's 15 parts, but if you do the math, okay, it basically equates to almost 3 hours. And you know, these streams are around 2.5 hours long. And last time I actually did a half hour first. And then last night we got through like 10 parts or 11 parts, something like that. But we still didn't finish it. It's that long of an episode. So it was good. There was a lot of suspense, a lot of drama. Sadly, some deaths. Some interesting stuff with character development. And we are now heading full speed into the finale of Walking Dead Season 1. Again, we had a good engaged crowd and good support. And this is what I mean. Like yesterday, usually, typically, on a react day, all right, I do okay. Yesterday, for some reason, I had crazy amounts of support on both React streams. And when you see that, you're like, so is this what they were talking about with the fake tips and they're going to charge these back? Could this be why yesterday was such a strongly supported day? Or maybe not. Maybe it's legitimately people liking the content. And I'm just going to take it at face value. There's nothing I can really do about that. If it happens on the back end, it is what it is. I'm not going to sit here like Among Us and start suspecting everyone around me to be the imposter. Instead, I'm just going to say, well, write it out and see what happens, okay? But yeah, it was very fun of a react day, and the parts of Walking Dead are also going live over on the Throwback channel daily. So FYI, we got some changes coming to DSP Throwback in the next couple of weeks. First of all, there's only a few parts of Final Fantasy left, maybe like 3 to 4 parts tops, and Final Fantasy 13 is done. So first off, you will start seeing LA Noire begin on DSP Throwback within the next 2 weeks. All right, just depends on timing of the editing and releasing of Final Fantasy 13. It will absolutely be the next series on that channel. It's the last lost series when it comes to a full playthrough that I've done. Yeah, it's the last one that's missing. That one was on the original Red Dead Redemption, or excuse me, Red Dead DSP channel that got shut down years and years ago. So now LA Noire will be restored, upgraded to be full 1080p, 60 frames, and, you know, properly titled, 30-minute parts. It'll be fun. I think it's going to be a fun playthrough, okay? So that's going to start soon. Now, the other part is that next weekend, we are going to finish with the retro react to The Walking Dead. And we've been talking about what should come next. And listen, I get it that people really like the narrative-based playthroughs, but at this point, we've been doing narrative-based stuff for over 3 months. We did the entire Heavy Rain playthrough, and now we did the entire Season 1 of Walking Dead. I'm ready for something different, okay? In fact, I would definitely prefer something way more action-based. And so we started coming up with candidates, and I would say top 2 candidates right now would be, number 1, continuing on with my original Dark Souls run. In fact, that was the retro react that kind of started this whole thing back in February, and then we got sidetracked with narrative-based games. It would be cool to see that come back. Or number 2, something that someone suggested, what about my original Metal Gear Solid 1 playthrough? And I was like, you know, I don't remember my original one. I know it was PS1. I know it was ages and ages and ages ago, but I just don't remember it, how I played it. Keep in mind that back then, I was still kind of a sarcastic douchebag, and I was making fun of Hideo Kojima constantly when playing the Metal Gear games in those first runs. That was kind of the running joke, is that I would keep slamming Kojima. So, perhaps it could be funny and interesting to see me play that game again. All right? Outside of that, it seems like other suggestions are all over the place. Some people are like, Assassin's Creed 2. And some are like, hey, what about one of the older Uncharted playthroughs that you did from back in the day? Okay? And there's been other suggestions as well. But I'm curious what you guys think. All right? Because we need to make a poll next weekend during that finale stream of The Walking Dead. So the more suggestions, the better. Please let me know what you think would work for the next Retro React over on DSP Throwback. Keep in mind, Retro Reacts don't have to be entire games. They can literally be like 1 or 2 off streams, and that's okay, and then we can shift to other games. But I definitely want to have variety on the channel. Some people have said, oh, just do The Wolf Among Us now. Or someone's like, oh, just go ahead and do the Taxidermist DLC for Heavy Rain. Or why don't you do episode 2 or season 2 of The Walking Dead? I'm like, no, we did too much of the narrative based already. That's 3 months is too much. We need to break it up. Okay? Cool. All right. Joel Off says their stream is lagging up. I see nothing on my end. I am in the green fully. No frame drops whatsoever. Looking on the YouTube side of things over here, I see nothing. So it sounds like that may be a YouTube side server error or perhaps your own internet. I don't know if anyone else is having issues. Okay. Okay. So please give me your suggestions on what should be the next DSP Throwback project when it comes to the Retro React streams. I'll weigh those in this week, and we'll do a poll starting next week to determine the next Retro React event. Okay? So that was yesterday. Today, we are back to games. After this intro podcast, we're going to go back into another Crab's Treasure, and I have a humongous positive update for you all on this. Okay? You ready for this? As you know, one of my major gripes with another Crab's Treasure has been the control scheme. Not the design of the game, not the world design, not the enemies, right? I like all of that. I like the fact that it's difficult like a Soulsborne game. My problem is the way that they design certain controls is delayed, much like Dark Souls. Allow me to explain. Here is the controller. As you're playing another Crab's Treasure, if you want to dodge an enemy, you need to press the B button. But the problem is, it's not just press the B button. It's you have to press and release the B button. Okay? That just innately adds extra delay to when your character is actually going to dodge an enemy attack. In fact, it's far more effective to kind of double tap the B button rather than go like this and this. Okay? Definitely. And I think that that's bad. And here's why. If you could just instantly react to an enemy by pressing the dodge button and have the dodge come out immediately, the game would become more about hand-eye coordination and first-time reactions and skill. Okay? When you have a game where you cannot immediately dodge, but instead there's a delay between when you press the button and release it, what ends up happening is the game becomes more about memorization. You have to memorize every attack pattern of every enemy, know exactly how they swing, the speed of the swing, and how they move, because you need to press and release at the right time, rather than just going, oh, there's the attack, and then pressing it. You see? Compare games like Dark Souls or Elden Ring to a game like Nioh. A game like Nioh, you can instantly dodge anything, and it makes the game significantly different and feel way more responsive than a FromSoft game. Okay, still Souls-like, but it plays a lot differently from a FromSoft game because of that big difference. Okay? So you might say, well, Why is that? Why is the game doing that? Well, I thought the reason that the game did that is because they were totally trying to copy Dark Souls. They really wanted to emulate FromSoft games. I mean, a Souls-like to the biggest, degree of the word, even have the controls be slightly delayed by requiring a button release rather than just a press. And, I kind of felt like that was a pet peeve of mine, that the game is good, except that's the one thing that annoys me. You don't need every single thing in your game to be copied from Dark Souls. You can have some things that are different, and sometimes it would even make the game better, right? So guess what? A lot of other people agree with me. And over the last week, they have actually been tweeting at the game developers saying, hey, FYI, we really don't like this touch and release control scheme for dodging. It makes fights way too silly, because it's not that the fights are tough, it's that you have to memorize everything to really dodge anything, and that's dumb. Why can't we just react to it? And so, after talking back and forth with the game developer was like, well, you can use an alternate control scheme. And we actually designed one in the game just for this purpose. And then they went on to explain why the game is like this, okay? It's really dumb in my opinion, but it's what FromSoft has always done. As you know, FromSoft, when you run in a FromSoft game, you have to hold this button. So I want to run. I use the thumbstick to aim, and I hold B, and now I run. Now, depending on the FromSoft games, some of them you actually had to release and press again, and it would do a running jump. In a game like Elden Ring, you could run, and then you got to tap A, and then you jump. All right? In this game, A is jump, so it is more like Elden Ring. So then why is run with B? And the answer is it doesn't have to be. The reason why they made dodge a release of the B button is because if you're trying to run, okay, and you just hold B to run, you don't want to accidentally dodge. If it was just press B to dodge, then you would dodge every time you wanted to run. So they made it release B to dodge so it didn't overlap with the run command. So how about you just don't fucking use that stupid control scheme from FromSoft? I mean, it's so dumb. Why do you have to bite off of FromSoft so much? I get it. It's a Souls-like, has all these elements of Dark Souls. You don't need to have the exact same control scheme. You just don't. And I feel like the game is worse for it. So they have an alternate control scheme where running is no longer B, but clicking in the left thumbstick. And then you'll engage in run. And if you do that, then when you press B, you dodge instantly. You don't have to release the button. Why wasn't that the default control scheme? Why don't you think gamers would want instant reaction in a game where it's literally life or death situations every fight, and if you get smacked once, you could die instantly? Why wouldn't you want an instant reaction? Why would you design a delay on the dodge? Because you want to overlay it also with the run command as the same button just because FromSoft did it? That's fucking stupid. And that pisses me off that they didn't understand that no one would really want that. But most people who play Another Crab's Treasure will not even know that there's an alternate control scheme and just accept it and play it like that. That's dumb. I think that's a huge problem. They effed it up. I mean, I get it. Imitation is the biggest form of flattery, correct? So if you're, our whole game is everything like FromSoft. We got the bonfires, we got the souls, which are microplastics, we got the delay controls. I get it. But not everything in your game has to be the same. You can actually improve upon FromSoft and show you went out of your way to try to do something better. You don't have to copy every single iteration of it. And I do think that was a big misstep and a mistake. So as of today, okay, I'm actually going to change the control scheme to dash with left stick and just tap B to dodge instantly. How much do you want to bet this is going to dramatically improve my gameplay experience? And I mean, again, that was like my one gripe with the game. Everything else I was liking. Okay, I'll take it back. The wonkiness of platforming in the camera. Because it definitely looks like sometimes you clip through platforms and sometimes the camera gets stuck in a wall or something like that. So it's not perfect, but definitely the biggest thing I had was the delayed control. That was really pissing me off. So now, because I'll be able to change it, I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be more fun, I feel. I think like I'm going to be doing better against bosses and enemies because I'm going to be able to dodge exactly when I want. So we're going to try this out today, and hopefully this will improve the gameplay experience. So where are we in Another Crab's Treasure? We beat that first major area, the Grove. We killed the final boss. People are actually saying there's a secret boss in a waterfall there somewhere that I can find, so I might try to get to it and figure it out. But then after that, we got to go trade in the map piece, and I think he's going to tell us to go to the east, which is the Vale area, which we've already unlocked. So then we could just start right into the next dungeon and go from there. So, it should be fun. I'm excited for more Another Crab's Treasure today. Now, FYI, there is no late stream tonight. I know many people will be very upset at this fact because you like the double stream days. I do too. All right. This is the only day this month of May where this should be the case. I should be able to be here for double streams for the rest of the month. It's just that today, number one, I need to film my private patron react videos for the month. And number two, I have a few behind the scenes things to do. It is early in the month. There's bills and stuff I have to arrange. So I'm like, I'll just do it all in one fell swoop tonight. Get it out of the way. And then I could be here for double streams for the rest of the month. Okay? So apologies. I will not be here for a late stream tonight. But I will be here, obviously, for Another Crab's Treasure. This is my one stream of the day. So if you're enjoying yourself, if you like the content, please support this one stream I'm doing today. And then I'll be back to double streaming tomorrow. Okay? Fair enough? I hope so. Now, you might say, wait a minute, private patron videos, what does that even mean? Well, you're right, I don't really mention it. So, I have a Patreon that I never mention because literally it's like a legacy thing. It's not something that's active that I use all the time or anything like that. You can check it out at patreon.com/darksidephil. And did you just lick my seltzer water? How dare you, Jasper? He licked it, and he smacked his lips on top of it after he did. That is incredibly rude. Do I just go up to your water bowl and start drinking? Wow. This morning when I gave you your treat, did I take a lick first before you got it? I don't think so. This guy is something else. Anyway, so, what was I saying? I got distracted. Oh, so I have a Patreon at patreon.com/darksidephil. It's really a legacy thing. You know, when I started direct capture and then I made some adjustments to my content, you know, one of the things that happened is when I moved out here, I was looking for some supplementary income to make up for the cost of the move, but also because trolling had dramatically decreased some of my income. And Patreon was a way where I was going to try to do side projects and extra things. And, you know, it evolved over the years. And now, honestly, Patreon mostly is a way for people who watch my content, okay? And, wow, he looks really good on camera today. Look at that. Patreon is a way for those who like my content but aren't necessarily into the streams to basically contribute and support the channel behind the scenes, all right? You can do a monthly pledge to my Patreon, and, you know, it just helps. It's an ongoing little bit of background support that I get. Would you not lick my seltzer, please? He wants to drink my seltzer water. It's wild cherry seltzer. You don't like wild cherry. If it was salmon flavor, you'd be all over. I don't know what you're doing. It's not shellfish flavor, all right? You might be thirsty. Well, he has 2 different fountains of water in the house that he can drink from if he's thirsty. He doesn't have to drink my wild cherry seltzer water. It's quite ridiculous. Okay. So anyway. So yeah, if you'd like to, you can check out my Patreon. But it's mostly for legacy viewers who've been watching my content on demand for a very long time. They want to support the content, but they don't come by the stream. So this is a way for them to do like an ongoing pledge, and it helps the channel. Do I get a lot of people on there? No, I don't. You know, maybe every month there's like 20, 30 people who really pledge to it. It's not a big deal, but it's greatly appreciated for the long-standing support I get over there. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because there is actually a perk you can get. If you do a $50 pledge to my Patreon, you get a private video. And it could be anything. It could be you send me questions to answer in a Q&A video for 20 minutes. It could be you send me a video that you liked me to watch and react to, and I'll do a private react video for you, okay? And in particular, that's what I'm doing tonight, is I have about an hour and a half of private reacting that I need to do. So I need the time to do it, and I'm doing that tonight in place of the late stream. Okay? Fair enough? Okay. I hope that sounds good. That's what I'm doing. So if you're interested in a private video, go check it out on my Patreon if you want. But it's not something I talk about or plug a lot. It's just kind of a background thing. Okay? No, it's not similar to OnlyFans. It's similar to Cameo. Where basically on Cameo, you'll pay someone like, you know, $50 to $100 and they'll make a private video for you. That's exactly what this is, only it's much longer than that. Okay? It is. It's a much longer video than what you would get on Cameo. And I was doing it before Cameo existed. I've been doing this since 2015, and people are like, "Oh, are you gonna get a Cameo?" Like, I've been doing this since 2015. I don't need a cameo. I was before cameo. Right? Okay. So there you go. Got that out of the way. Let's talk about the rest of the week. What are people saying? What is your internet doing? My internet is fine. What is going on? Are some of you conking out? Are some of you not seeing the stream? Yeah, I'm good. I'm in the green, full, no issues. So if you guys are seeing issues, it's definitely a YouTube server issue, and I'm sorry for that, obviously, but I can't really control it. Yeah. Okay. Tomorrow we get back to full-time streaming. And tomorrow it'll be the podcast, followed by Fallout 4. And honestly, I'm curious how Fallout 4 is going to do. Because I really like the playthrough up to now, but that last stream we did a couple days ago, it did not do well. We basically had a very slow engagement. Like, a lot of people were kind of here, but weren't paying attention to the game. And the support was actually very, very low for that stream. And it's weird because every Fallout stream before then had done really well. So I don't know if Fallout Mania has finally died out and people don't really care anymore. I'm not sure. But for me, I'm really liking the Fallout 4 playthrough. I want to keep doing it. I love the Idiot Savant melee run. And I apologize that, you know, maybe some of the hype is dying out or whatever. I guess we'll see. But I want to play it again tomorrow and give it another shot. And tomorrow night, the late stream will be more Street Fighter 6 Zangief ranked, where we're trying to get Zangief up to master rank. It's been a very difficult climb because of the nature of the fights. Every time I fight a top tier character, he gets dominated because he really doesn't have any way to get out of the rush down. But I'm doing my best and trying to get to master before the update hits May 22nd. So we'll see how that goes tomorrow night. Okay. And then on Wednesday, it's a day up in the air. And here's what I mean by that. Wednesday's daytime stream, I can either do more Another Crab's Treasure or more Fallout 4, depending on what you guys want. So let's see what you guys want, depending on how tomorrow goes. The way I see it is if Fallout 4 goes well tomorrow, you probably want more Fallout 4. If Fallout 4 is kind of on the slow side, you probably want more Another Crab's Treasure instead. So let's play it by ear and see what happens. And then on Wednesday night, again, another stream that's up in the air. What are you doing? Jasper, you're going crazy today. He's really all over my equipment today. Look at this. Look what he's doing. Could you relax? Come on. Relax. Okay. Wednesday night, it's either going to be the return of Helldivers 2, which I'm okay with. But the thing is, when we played Helldivers 2 last week, it definitely didn't do well. It was basically a stream where less people showed up, low engagement, low support. And I don't know if that means that the Helldivers 2 kind of thing has died out at this point on the channel. I don't know. Or what I was thinking, we could just do a late night chill stream where we just hang out and talk for a while. We'd usually do these about once a month and they do pretty good. So maybe that could be the night we just kind of hang out and talk about topics for a couple of hours and just relax. I'd be okay with that. Now, next week, there's a new game. Little Kitty Big City is coming out on the Game Pass and I want to check it out. So I'm actually going to check that out as the daytime stream on Friday, just as a one-off test to see if it's any good. Hopefully it is, and it's something that we might want to have in the rotation, but we'll find out on Friday, and then we'll go from there, okay? One other reminder, there is a fun PC-centric Indies Marathon coming up on this channel on Saturday, May 25th. You guys are now able to nominate games for that event. If you type !Indies into the chat right now, it'll bring up the link by which you can submit games for that. And the more games submitted, the better. And the whole goal is to get games submitted more than once. Because what I'm going to do is take a look in about a week and a half, and the most nominated games, meaning the ones that got multiple nominations by different people, will be put into a finalized poll. Then you will vote on said poll, and that will determine what games we actually played during that Indies Day. I'm very excited to be playing indie games on a mini PC. I haven't played indie games in so long, and particularly PC indie games have been non-existent for many, many years. So this will be a fun opportunity to play games that I haven't really had access to in a long time. And what happens a lot of these times is we find out a few hidden gems or things I never heard of, but I end up really liking them and they work for content, and then we end up doing playthroughs of them. All right? So I'm excited. Okay. So folks, that is what I've got for the schedule and for all those updates for you. Someone just asked, what about co-op with Cat? Right now, we have no plans for it as of yet. We definitely want to do it sometime this month, but just to give you the heads up, without giving you specifics, because it's really none of your business, all right? Basically, a lot of stuff has been going on, stressful for us behind the scenes. It's nothing awful or anything, but there's some things health-wise going on. There's some other things like schedule and timing-wise going on that have been really screwing with us. And it's like every single time that we think there's an opportunity to do it, something has gotten in the way. And so we are erring on the side of caution, where we want to make sure that if and when we're going to do the co-op, it's ready to go. It's set in stone. Everyone's happy with it. We want to get it started without any added frustration or stress or anything like that. And that was the problem. We kept trying to squeeze it in, and squeezing it in was causing undue stress and problems with our schedule. It's like, all right, this sucks. So that's the point, is that we're trying to get to a situation where we know it's going to work. Everyone will have fun, including you guys, us, everyone. So that's why I don't want to promise it yet. I will promise it once we're to that point where, you know, it's set and it makes sense. But we have no plans to do that as of yet. So, you know, I'll let you know. You'll hear it from me. You don't have to ask. You'll hear it from me, basically when, you know, we're ready. Okay? Exactly right. The Bloom says, it's all good, man. Remember, it's not supposed to be an obligation. It's just meant to be fun. And if it happens, cool. If it doesn't, cool. No issues. Exactly. We want it to be happening naturally when it's time for it and when it's going to be fun and it's not causing stress and problems. So that's why. And like I said, listen, I wish I could tell you guys everything. I can't. We have a private life. We have to keep it private because of the insane amount of harassing tractor idiots on the internet. I hope you understand that. But we're working towards it. Okay? All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for my favorite segment, your favorite segment, and everyone's favorite segment here on the Level 1 podcast. It is time for Phil's Day Off Part 2. I'm just kidding. It is time for DSP News. And on DSP News today, we have a few different things going on. All right. Number one, my nose is itching me pretty bad. Number one, we have 3 stories to cover today. First story. You may have heard of this little studio out there. It's just a little rinky-dink studio. They've maybe done 1 or 2 kind of things you may have heard of in pop culture. They're called Dreamworks Animation. So just a little small rinky-dink place. You know, very rare that people would know who Dreamworks Animation is, right? Yeah, right. Obviously, I'm being facetious and sarcastic here. So DreamWorks Animation, for the first time ever, has decided to officially team up with a game developer to make a series of video games. They're teaming up with a game company called Story Kitchen, and they're saying that this is a new strategic partnership. And reading word for word from the press release, Story Kitchen's focus will be in securing exciting, iconic video game IPs for DreamWorks Animation to adapt for global animated audiences. So it sounds like this isn't just an attempt to make like one DreamWorks game. They may take a lot of the stuff they've done over the years and maybe turn it into video games, or maybe they'll even make new IPs. I don't know. But DreamWorks is a pretty solid company. All right, they are. They're a pretty solid company. They've done great things, and they have a body of work to work with that I feel could be converted well into video games. For example, like someone said, Shrek. Exactly. But that's just one thing that they've done. They've done many different things over the years that could possibly become, you know, popular video games. So that's an interesting announcement. Now, this is just the initial announcement of the team up. This is not any, oh, we're working on this. They haven't done that yet. If they do, don't you think maybe they'd start making announcements like maybe during the Summer Games Fest or something like that? And that's right around the corner, right? It's coming probably in early June. So sounds like a good announcement to me. I'm excited for that one. Okay. Prince of Egypt. Oh, yeah. I forgot they made Prince of Egypt a million years ago. That's you know, I'll say this. I understand that certain movies are religious, right? I'll just say Prince of Egypt is a solid movie. Even if you don't care about religion, it's still a really good movie. It's well acted, well drawn, well written, great musical numbers. Like, it's actually a really good movie. I recommend Prince of Egypt if you've never seen it. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I remember watching it a lot in the 90s and really liking the movie. Okay. Yeah, the animation, again, hand-drawn art, which you don't get anymore, right? I mean, that was the era of hand-drawn art, and to not be Disney and put out a movie of that caliber was pretty impressive. Okay. Second news story for today It is official. As of this morning, Hades 2 Early Access has been released on Steam. All right, so I don't think that it's on any consoles yet, nor I don't know if they have plans to release the early access version of Hades 2 on consoles yet. But on Steam, it was released for $29.99. Now, keep in mind, it's the early access in production version of the game. It means it doesn't have all the features. It's probably not even finished. But for those who are like super fans of Hades and want to play the sequel early, it's available now. Excuse me. Now, for the record, I heard good things about Hades for many, many years, but it was always PC-centric. Then finally it released on console, and people convinced me eventually to check out Hades. And when I did, I absolutely loved it. I thought that the game was well-designed, well-written, well drawn and everything, the art style. I got hooked on the gameplay mechanics. I played it. I beat it. I fully beat it. I didn't just do the first run. I did all the runs, got the ending and everything. It was a really great game. I'm very happy I played it because it was an example of how roguelikes can be done well. As opposed to Returnal, which I played right before it, and it was just shitty in my opinion, okay? So Battleduck says, I'd love to see you play that on your mini PC. Well, here's the thing. I don't know if we can. I don't know if it would run on the mini PC. Maybe it would. If you guys know the stats of the game and if it would run on the mini PC, I'd be down for that. And TubTub says, yeah, can we nominate Hades 2 for the Indies Marathon? It's been getting great reviews, and early access is the first 5 completed runs. So it's 5 out of 10 runs. Gotcha. Yeah. If you guys think it would run on the mini PC, nominate it for the Indies Marathon. Yes, I know it's expensive. It's $30, but I love Hades 1. Yes, absolutely, I would consider it for the Indies Marathon for sure. Okay. Sounds good to me. That sounds like a good idea. Yeah, and yeah, people are shocked. It's out today. It just came out. Like, as I was reading news this morning, I screen grabbed it, and it was like, so it's out to this morning. You could get it on Steam right now, okay? Keep in mind, though, early access. Again, probably going to have bugs. It's probably going to have issues. It's not going to be complete. It might be unbalanced because it's the early version. People are going to buy it, play it now, and then they're going to, based on feedback, end up tweaking the game and finishing the game later. So you got to understand that about early access, what you're getting into. I've played early access games before. Oh my God. Remember We Happy Few? That was not good. That was not a good situation. So, but I mean, Hades 1 was really, really good. I trust the studio to do a good job with 2. So, anyway. All right. So the big news story we got today that I'm sure everyone wants me to talk about. All right. We have triumph for the democracy. Because, ladies and gentlemen, after almost an entire week of controversy regarding Helldivers 2 on PC and the requirement to have a PlayStation Network account to continue to play it, Sony/PlayStation has done a complete 180 on their decision. Here is the official announcement from PlayStation's Twitter account last night. Helldivers fans, we have heard your feedback on the Helldivers 2 account linking update. The May 6th update, which would have required Steam and PlayStation Network account linking for new players and for current players beginning May 30th, will not be moving forward. Instead, we will be auto-debiting $99.99 from each person's Steam account because you really are whiny and we just are tired of your crap, and this is for payment for it. I'm just kidding. I made up that second part. No, I'll read the second half for real now. We're still learning what is best for PC players, and your feedback has been invaluable. Thanks again for your continued support of Helldivers 2, and we'll keep you updated on our future plans, okay? So, that's good news. I mean, people fought the good fight, right? They downvoted the crap out of the game on Steam. They very, very verbally gave their discontent about this requirement on the internet and tried to refund the game on Steam, and some people were successful and some people weren't, and it worked. Sony has caved. It took 6 days, but Sony caved, and there no longer will have that requirement on PC moving forward. Quite frankly, as we discussed, did the requirement even make sense when the game had been out fully functional and having no issues for 3 months? No, it didn't. It was just something that probably Sony boardroom members and bigwigs sitting at a fucking boardroom table having no actual understanding of gaming as a whole, sitting there and say, no, we just need all of our games to have it because we need all our numbers inflated so we have more PSN people so we can control what they do online, which they don't. They're just full of shit, you know? Just a bunch of fucking people who are out of touch with gaming, making gaming decisions. So this is great news. This obviously means the effort worked. And so, yes, those who stood up for what they believed in should be applauded. The people who spread the word, the people who talked about this all over Twitter and social networks and the internet in general, and the community for Helldivers should be proud of themselves, right? They definitely stood up for what they wanted and made it very clear that this change made no sense. You were going to lock out thousands of people from playing a game that they paid for and have enjoyed for 3 months. You were going to create all this discontent and negativity in the community over what? What is the benefit of PlayStation Network linking? Zero. It wouldn't have benefited anyone. So I'm happy they did this big 180. Now, I'm going to say kudos to Sony, not for making the bad decision, but for showing that they're a company willing to listen and change the course of the ship dependent on customer feedback. That shows that is a company that is in touch and willing to change on the fly. But it's weird because now I'm seeing people say things like, well, I still don't think I'm going to trust Sony in the future because you see at any moment they could just try to institute something like this. It's very anti-consumer, so I still don't like Sony. And it's like, wait a minute. Hold on a second, right? Can we be fair here? In life, people make mistakes, right? Now, if you notify someone, listen, you're making a mistake. I want you to know you're making the mistake. I want to tell you why it's a mistake. I want you to understand the mentality and sentiment of everyone around you who agrees this is a mistake, and I hope that you're going to change your mind. And if the person hears all of that feedback and actively listens and says, okay, I hear you, I understand, I've changed my mind, I will not do that, I will not make the mistake, okay? Do you forgive that person and say that person grew? That's awesome. They listened, they grew. This is exactly what you want out of a person, right? So why would you not give that same benefit of the doubt to the company? Sony, in this case, was making an awful decision. They listened, they learned, and now they, within a week, made a big decision. Hey, let me tell you something. A corporation doing a major decision like this in a week is pretty big. These corporations usually are so full of bureaucratic bullshit and you have to vote and fucking fuck around to do anything. The fact that they actually came to a decision in a week and did a big 180, that's a huge thing. For Sony and for gamers at large, that's a giant cool thing to know that you have that almost community line of contact to Sony. And this is a huge positive. I don't know why people would now have the mentality, well, we could just never trust anyone ever again. Fuck Sony and fuck, like, wait. Come on, man. At some point, you got to at least give some credit where credit is due and be like, they did the right thing. Let's not be dicks now, right? Because that's what it is. It's like, it's either all or nothing. Either we're all in on hating Sony or we are the biggest ball suckers of Sony around and we want to massage the Sony dick. It's like, no, you don't have to massage the genitals and you also don't have to wish them death. You can kind of be somewhere in the middle in life. You don't have to hate or love. And in this case, I think this is a situation where, yeah, we got to be skeptical about Sony in the future. They may be making more problems, but at the same time, if they're willing to listen, that's a good thing. Let's give them some credit and let's not feel so negative. The sky is falling, fucking world-ending shit. I mean, come on, you know? But stay away from Sony genitalia, okay? Well, Maximum Turbo says, here's the thing. They didn't grow, mature, or learn. They're scared they were going to lose out on money, and they made the smarter decision to rescind their plan. Very well, you may be correct. Those bigwigs in the boardroom probably walked in all of their tropical shirts. I'm sure they dress up just like me. They don't wear suit and tie or nothing. They just walk in looking just like me. And they sat down, and they had Mai Tais and, you know, pina coladas in their hands, and they were drinking, and said, all right, so we're going to lose a lot of money today. What do we do? Do we lose the money or do we keep the money? Well, you know, I think we should lose the money. What? Anyway. No, I get what you're saying. But, I mean, let's be honest. In the corporate world, money talks, right? So the gamers rallied together. They showed that they were going to act in this way if this other thing happened, and they directly changed the attitude and decision of a major corporation, and that's huge, right? Now, let's hope that Sony learns. You're right. If this is a case where Sony just continuously keeps up bad decision, bad decision, bad decision, and everyone has to keep doing this to get them to stop making these bad decisions, that's going to be stupid and suck. We got to hope that maybe they learn something from this situation in their boardroom. Between sips of Mai Tais, pina coladas, smoking cigars, and going out on their yachts for the week, hopefully they learn something, right? Because we all know that's what all the Sony executives do all week. Anyway, all right. So anyway, that's good news and absolutely tremendous. Hopefully now I don't have to talk about the Helldivers 2 situation anymore. It's been a heck of a week talking about it every day in the news. I hope now that the news is all good, right? Cool. All right, that's DSP news for today, folks. We're going to get to shout-outs, but first I want to see if I can get my blinds back in order because the wind is whipping so strongly today. All right, let's get the shout-outs, my friends. Let's start here. Over on the YouTube side of things, we started off today's podcast with a super chat from the big dog who said, "Acknowledge me." I guess this is a wrestling reference. I wouldn't even know. Are they even doing that plotline anymore after WrestleMania? Like, I think Roman Reigns lost, right? So I don't even know if they're even doing that anymore. But thank you for the super chat. Token, 4 months as a member, and he says, "Freaking detractors, man, I swear. It is what it is." Thank you, Token. It's just about awareness at this point, so everyone knows what's going on. Jordan, with a $2 super chat, says, "Would you play Homelander when he comes out in MK1? No. MK1 is terrible. It has been dropped by 90% of the players who played it. No one likes it. I mean, it's just not a good game. So, no, I'm not playing MK1. It's terrible. I don't like it. Even though I own the season pass, I'm still not playing any of the DLC characters. The game sucks. I'd rather play Street Fighter 6. Excuse me. The Blimp did a super chat and says, "Retro React a FromSoft title, I reckon." Yeah, and you know, we had started the original Dark Souls 1 run, and it actually, I really liked it. Like, I had a great time that night. So, I would be totally down to continue with Dark Souls 1 for another stream and see how it goes. We don't have to do the whole playthrough. We just do it as a one-off every once in a while to break up content, and I think it would probably work well. So, again, right now, I would say Dark Souls 1 and Metal Gear Solid 1 are maybe the two things I'd be most interested in. And then maybe if we get a couple more suggestions, we could do a poll for all 4 next weekend. But I need a couple more solid suggestions, okay? Okay. Han Solo 989 re-upping their membership for 3 months says, "Dab for Blastoise 91. Dab for Blastoise." And then Lilica just upped the membership for 3 months, says, dab for Blastoise. I don't know why we're dabbing for Blastoise, but we'll dab for Blastoise. There you go. Okay. So that's the YouTube side of stuff. By the way, it's official. Within just a couple of days here, some people are going to hit their 3-year anniversary as members of the channel. We're going to start seeing the diamond crowns in chat for the first time, which I'm excited for. They're pretty cool looking. And that's the highest level of acknowledgement here on the channel right now. We could eventually do a 4-year emote, or to badge, I should say, but we have to think of what it would be. Maybe it wouldn't be a crown. Maybe we'll just make a total new one for 4-year members next year. Could be neat. But let's think about it. But anyway, diamond crowns are on the way. We should start seeing them hit within the next few days because I think it was the beginning of the 2nd week of May 2021 when I moved from Twitch to YouTube fully, if I remember correctly. Okay? Cool. All right. Now, on the tip side of things, let's start shouting out tips, shall we? Excuse me. Let's see here. This I completely disagree with. Someone tipped $1, says, "I feel like streams have been slow engagement and support." That's not true. The streams have not been slow engagement and support. There's been a couple one-offs. Helldivers 2 was 1 stream last week, and there was 1 stream of Fallout 4 this week. That's not all the streams are low on engagement and support. So the first statement you made in your dollar tip is incorrect. Okay, it's a gross overstatement. You're playing nothing but decade-old games and free Game Pass games that no one cares about. Let's examine the games that I'm playing. Okay, Another Crab's Treasure, a brand new Souls-like. Elden Ring Second Run, which I just finished. A game from 2 years ago, which needed to be replayed in order to play the DLC next month. Street Fighter 6, a fighting game that's not even a year old yet. So already, The first 3 games I just talked about, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. Oh, by the way, Helldivers 2, which just came out 3 months ago, you're wrong. The literal only game that I'm playing that's old is Fallout 4, and that's 9 years old, not a decade old. So actually, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. So your first statement of your tip was wrong. Your second statement of your tip was wrong. Should I even continue? What do you guys think? Should I continue to read, or are we good? Can we move on to the next tip? I mean, you paid $1 and made 2 gross misconceptions in your statement, so the rest of your statement is going to be wrong too. You know, should we keep going? Okay. There's been so many new releases that would reinvigorate your channel, but you seem to be against getting anything new because games cost $70. What new games have come out in the last month to 2 months that I'm not playing exactly? Besides Stellar Blade, which isn't going to reinvigorate the channel. It's not even the type of game that I like that much, right? Here's what I love about messages like this. 2 completely incorrect statements, and then a statement that they don't back up with any facts. They just make 3 generalized statements that are poor shit. But now I'm supposed to be like, oh, wow, you really got me. You really showed me with all those facts, right? Actually, views are up. Engagement's up, support is up. Everything has been up since I stopped playing insanely long RPGs. Everything is up. And I have no complaints whatsoever in that regard. The problem is the annoying chargebacks. But that's not something that fans and viewers can help. Or me. That's just people breaking the law, right? Anyway. Hello. Hi, Jasper. So thanks for the $1 tip. It's just a shame that your message is so misguided and completely wrong. I wish it wasn't. But I guess that's just life, right? All right. What a great start. Our next tip. Come on. There we go. My headphone cord was over my keyboard. I kept hitting the wrong key. I received a $5 tip from an anonymous tipper. Let me go ahead and play the first animation of the day. Thank you so much. And let's see what they have to say. Jasper's starting to play with the wires again. Here we go again. I really enjoyed the Battlefront stream on Friday. Actually, it was on Saturday for May the 4th. Consider this support for that, and Jasper's little bow is very cute. Yes, that is a collar we got him about 2 months ago. And we always try to get like a little cute thing on his collar, and it's nice. I agree. I like the bow on his collar too. It's dapper. It's a dapper bow for Jasper Kitty. Okay, I received another $5 tip here. Wait. It's identical. Now, I wonder if this were 2 tips, or I have no idea if this is 2 tips, or if I got a double message for some reason. Oh, shit. You know who you are, anonymous tipper? You might want to check, because it looks like the same tip came through twice for some reason, and I don't know why. I'll count it once. If you can verify it came through twice by accident and you want me to refund the second one, I will. It's up to you. But it's literally exactly the same message and everything. So I don't know if it actually... It might just be a duplicate message because they came in at exactly the same time as well, which is kind of weird. So, okay. I received a $10 tip. Let's see. Just listen to this. From someone named Handsome Tuna Roll. You know, Phil, outside of this whole gaming stuff, you seem like a pretty cool dude. If I run into you at Costco, can I buy you a case of beer that we can drink in the parking lot? No. That's incredibly weird, inappropriate, and creepy. If ever you saw me in real life, and you're like, oh, that's Darkside Phil, and you walk up and say, hey, are you Darkside Phil? I'll say, yes. And if you say, oh, cool to meet you. Can I shake your hand, maybe take a picture or something? I'll say, yes. And then that's it. And then I'll go on my merry way and have my day out. Because remember, my 1 day out a week that I get is very busy. Usually I'm running around doing a million chores, errands, and I want to spend time with my wife, but I got to get those done. So to be hung up, you know, somewhere, you know, please respect my time. You know, I only get 1 day a week off from streaming. I like to try to spend as much time with my family as I can. It's okay to approach me and say hello or whatever, but please don't try to take up tons of my time. No, I don't want you to buy me things. No, I don't want to drink beer with you. No, I don't want to have a smoke with you. No, I don't want to have a dinner with you. No, I don't want to hear your life story. I don't want to meet your extended family. I don't want to sit in your backseat of your car while you sing show tunes in the front seat. I just want to be on my merry way, okay? Thank you, and I hope that you respect that. Okay, I received a $10 tip there. Let's at least play the animation for it. All right. All right, cool. Okay, as of now, it appears I have shouted out everything. At least let me double check that now that I said that. Let me actually double check that. Because this page didn't load. Sometimes I have issues. I think it's all right. Let me reload. I think we're good, though. Okay. There we go. Okay, cool. All right, so, Jasper, what you doing? He's going crazy on my cord. Which cord is that? Is that the Xbox controller cord? He's just booping. He's going boop, 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 boop with his paw. He just keeps booping it. You're silly. What a nut. Okay. Jordan has done a $5 super chat. Says, if we manage to play Stardew Valley for Indies Night, I'll donate $100. Well, first of all, there's no Indies Night. It's an Indies marathon that's going on all day long on the 25th. And I don't control what we play. I don't. It's really in the hands of the viewers. Again, you guys are nominating the games. The most nominated games go into a poll. You guys vote on the games. I don't, determine what will be played that day. So, hey, if you want to really see a game get played, campaign for it. Get other people to nominate it, right? Get it into that final poll. Then rally for people to vote for it. That's the way to do it. Okay? Jasper, please not chew that wire. He's sitting there. He's going, boop, 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 boop on the wire. He just keeps booping it. All right. Stop being silly. I know you're not, you're not being malicious. He's not chomping it or anything either. What's up, PS3 Troop? How are you doing today? Will we ever see the return of Sea of Stars? Asked Walk Warrior. Yes, just not now. Probably later this year when things slow down. Anso Kamaru, I don't care. I received a $1 tip. Wow, this person's a complete idiot, and I'm just going to ignore them. Seriously, I don't take the bait anymore. I don't. This is someone who wants to argue with me about chargebacks and shit. You know they're a troll, so you just say, fuck you, and you just move on. Don't waste time. Don't waste breath. Done. See, I am learning. I'm learning and I'm improving. I'm not taking the bait. I'm not wasting my time. Astro, I already answered this question last night. He says, Kendrick or Drake? Lil Bow Wow. Undisputably. I can't believe you guys are stuck in this weird comparison of apples to oranges when you can have giant, juicy pomegranates. All right? Roman Victor, thank you for becoming a member for 5 months. Looking forward to DSP Politics or merch. Not happening anytime soon, either one of those. Sarah, re-up in her membership for 15 months, says it's been a month without playing a JRPG, but I still love you. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I hope it's not romantic love. Like, if it's like platonic affection for a content creator across the internet that you happen to like their content, that's one thing. If it's actually like romantic love, that's very disturbing, and I have to warn you against that. It's a bad thing to have a level of obsession, because I don't have that for you. But anyway, thank you for the notion. An L take for Little Bow Wow? No, that's a juicy pomegranate take, my friend. Let's see here. We watch trailers for the Indie Marathon? Sure. If you want me to check out certain games about the Indie Marathon, nominate them for my React show every Sunday. There's tons of people there who can nominate Indies trailers, and we can watch them so I know what these games are. I'd be down for that. Good morning, I have no enemies. How's it going? Don Finucci, no. I do not. Forget it. Maximum Turbo says, how stressful is it to work 6 days a week and stream all day? I feel like if I didn't have more than 4 days off a month, I'd go crazy. I mean, I'm lucky that that's my job. If I had another job and I was working 6 days a week like I do, and I didn't like the job, I probably would go nuts. You're right. But I like my job. That's the good thing. I'm lucky to like the job that I have. This is the best job I've ever had. I love hanging out with you guys. I love interacting. I love playing games. I love chilling on a podcast. I love reacting to clips. I love watching back my classic playthroughs. I like just shooting the shit. It's fun. I really enjoy it. So I hope you guys get that out of it as well. And that's why I'm able to do it 6 days a week. He's back to booping the wire again. Jasper, would you stop? Stop chewing that wire. Stop that. Jasper, come on. Stop chewing the wire. I know you. Don't chew the wire. Oh, he did it again. He won't stop chewing this wire. Would you stop? I know you have no bad intentions. I know you're just being a playful cat, but I need the wire so I can play Xbox, okay? I need the Xbox wire to work so I can play the game today. Jasper, please. Oh. Jasper, you're going to pull the controller to the floor. That's it. All right, that's it, buddy. The wire alone. This wire alone. The wire alone. Jasper, come on. Come on. He's a nut. Come on up. Come on, jump up. Jump up while we talk to everybody. I got another tip to shout out. No, you're not going to jump up here now? No, I want you to jump up here, and you won't. But he'll want to do that when I'm playing. Right? Of course. The big question is Soulja Boy or Little Bow Wow? Now, you see, you're going across it the wrong way. You take Soulja Boy, you take Little Bow Wow, you combine them into the one ultimate super R&B hip-hop rap group called the modern version of Crisscross, Soulja Bow Wow. Or Soulja Wow. Or how about Lil Bowja? There you go. And they wear all their clothes backwards. Lil Bowja make a jump. Jump, Lil Bow Jamaica, jump, jump. Okay, anyway, enough of this nonsense. What the hell? It's a piece of hair stuck in my chair. Look at that. Hair in the chair. Get it? I got it. Okay. Okay. I received a $5 tip. Sorry, I got so distracted. From Ugly Tuna Roll. What is the big game for 2024? Past years, we've had games like God of War Ragnarok, Spider-Man 2, Last of Us 2. What's the game of the year potential for this year? Nothing. I've literally said this. There is literally not a single game right now with a game release date that is a game of the year big game. And that's the thing about this year. Previous years, you've had established games or titles. You're like, that's a big one. That's a big one. That could be a game of the year. We are literally 4 months into 2024. There is not a single game of the year contender for me yet. Like, I haven't played a single game that I was like, wow, game of the year, baby. No, not one. And now, what else is coming out? You tell me. I don't know, man. You tell me. It's one of those years where, yeah, games are coming out, but there's really nothing huge or amazing, in my opinion. So I guess we're going to have to see as the year progresses. Jasper, stop that right now. Hey, Jasper. Jasper, kitty. Now you're upsetting me. I've had enough. That's it. Jasper, that's it. That's it. I'm going to do it. And he rubs it. He rubs his face on the bottle. Stop biting those wires right now. Stop it. He's sniffing and rubbing the water bottle. So anyway, yeah, like we've gone through the game release schedule. Of all the games that have release dates, Black Myth Wukong could be good, but we don't know. It's the first game from that studio. Maybe it'll be good. There's really nothing, man. There's nothing huge at all yet this year. Again, I feel like after Summer Game Fest or after this Xbox presentation, I heard there's going to be a Sony presentation. Then we're going to have a better idea, right? But we haven't gotten there yet. We have to get through those events, and then we'll probably get more information. Jasper, I'm really had enough of this now. You got to stop. Sheesh. Am I going to play No Rest for the Wicked? No. Metal Gear Delta is supposed to be 2024. Yeah, it's a remake though. You know, it's what the biggest games of the year should not be remakes of games that we liked from yesteryear. You know what I'm saying? Like those should be the icing on the cake of a good year of original new games. But then there's also some good remakes. It shouldn't be, oh, all the best games this year are remakes of games from the past. That's ridiculous. Can a DLC win Game of the Year or no? I guess this guy, it would depend on the DLC. Like, if this Shadow of the Erdtree DLC ends up feeling like Elden Ring 2, then maybe. And considering there's really nothing else going on, right? Like, I don't know, man. Jasper, seriously, man. Leave the wires alone. Stop it. I mean it now. Leave them alone, buddy. I got a $10 tip from an anonymous tipper saying that just to be aware that my streams help people be distracted from, stuff that goes on in their real lives, and they really appreciate that. Well, thank you for the $10 tip. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad that my content helps you in some way. Thank you so much. And Sarah did a super chat. Do you think you might miss out on some of the best games of the year to appease your audience who get bored of games after 3 or 4 streams? I don't know. I would hope that if it's a game that's big enough that I'm interested in, that I wouldn't just skip it because of that. I guess we'll see. And Easy Steve did a super chat. He says, Metaphor for Fantasio will sweep this year. Well, that is the new game from the makers of Persona, correct? And here's the thing. I think it looks great. I do. I personally really like the art style, that it's the Persona art style, but it's now medieval. I like that. That's a cool change for me. And I want to play the game. But I'm going to be honest, I'm very nervous about playing a new Atlas game like that. I mean, they have had situations where they claim, block, or even put copyright strikes against people who play their games when they're new. And they did it with Persona 5 against me. Even though I followed their rules, they still hit me with copyright strikes. And it's like, do I want to risk putting my channel in major jeopardy because these guys don't understand, internet culture and YouTube? I just don't know. So I want to play this Metaphor de Fantasio game, or whatever it's called. It looks great, but I'm nervous about playing it when it comes out. We have to see what happens, I guess, in regards to that. No, we do not give Jasper table food. The only exception would be if we're doing something like making like a tuna casserole. Maybe my wife would give him a couple pieces of tuna out of the can, but that's about it. Everything is cat food. We want everything that's proper for him. The thing is, so let's talk about this Metaphor game, right? I think Metaphor would work if that's the only major RPG I'm playing. If it's the only JRPG, it's a lengthy game, but I do it as maybe a few daytime streams and we adjust it to night streams, or we balance it in there, it'll work. The problem is I cannot be playing Baldur's Gate 3, Like a Dragon Infinite Well, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Dragon's Dogma 2 at the same time. It will never work. That's way too many RPGs in too short of a time. No one cares. Everyone gets burnt out, including me, right? So there you go. Joel Law says, I did say yesterday we'd either see the continuation of a complete meltdown today or the start of Helldivers 2 Beautiful Resurrection. Maybe I should be your magic 8-ball. Well, I mean, yeah, it was coming to a breaking point. I mean, today was the date when it was going to be the first requirement that you needed his PSN account in order to play the game as a new player, and that was ridiculous. So they had to come to a determination sooner rather than later. The villain says, how come we don't get a good Superman game? Is it because he's overpowered? Well, no, it's because Superman is a boring archetype according to modern audiences. I'm not kidding you. Like, if you actually were like to poll modern audiences, they'd probably say, oh, the spandex wearing Boy Scout, white male, combed hair, basically Mr. Goody Two Shoes guy. Like, people don't really like that anymore, right? I feel like that's kind of like, it's not what's popular when it comes to popular opinion or pop culture. At one point, it was, but I feel like basically people think that he's just kind of played out and boring at this point. But why do you think there's such an affinity for Batman? Because Batman is the broken, imperfect hero who doesn't have superpowers, but still somehow fights against corruption and injustice because he has a mental disorder, essentially, because his parents were murdered, right? That's such a far cry from, oh, I'm the super-powered guy who came from Krypton, and I could just destroy everyone. I'm completely invincible, and I just have to struggle with my own self because I'm so powerful, right? It's a little different. Right. What's the most powerful iterations of Superman we have today? Omni-Man and the Homelander. The anti-heroes, the enemy, the evil guys, right? Those are more popular than the real Superman. So I think that speaks volumes, right? Do I have high hopes for the kitty game on Nintendo? The kitty game on Nintendo, are you talking about Little Kitty Big City? It's a Game Pass game on Xbox, so I have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, yeah, I know that. Joeloff says Sony is still going to stick to their mandatory PSN link for future PC games. For example, you still need it to do the multiplayer for the Legends mode of Ghost of Tsushima. Trust me, they're not going back on it. They're going back on it in this situation because the people were so vocal about it, right? That's why. They want that PSN integration in PC gaming. I don't think they're just going to do a complete 180 on the entire company's mentality. It's just in this one particular game for now. Okay, well, thanks guys so far. Keep in mind, this is my only stream for today. No late stream tonight, sadly, but it is what it is. I'll be back to double streaming tomorrow. I hope after the show ends, you will stick around for another Crab's Treasure. We have a new control screen we're trying today that should dramatically improve the gameplay experience with instant reactions to the dodge input, which is what I've been looking for, and now I should have it. So hopefully you will stick around for that. Thank you for the early support. Being this is my only stream of the day, if you do stick around for another Crab's Treasure, thank you. I hope that you'll consider supporting the stream. Good show today. Any final topics, any final things you guys want to talk about before we adjourn the podcast? Just curious if anyone has anything burning on their mind, because, once we get into the crab game, it's a game you need a lot of focus on. What's up, Gatsukatsu? How are you doing? Any plans to get another pet, says Double J? As I've explained previously, Jasper is a center of attention pet. And what I mean by that is he gets incredibly jealous if there's anything else going on that grabs the attention. I mean, hell, sometimes there'll be like a creature in the backyard, walking through the backyard. And if we're paying attention to that creature, he gets upset. He wants to be the center of attention at all times. If we try to cook a meal, he's there trying to get attention. We're having breakfast, he jumps on the counter and walks in front of our food. That's how he is. He is spoiled, but that's his personality type. If we were to get another pet, like let's say we get a dog or another cat, what would happen is he would act out, okay? 100%. He would act out, and he would basically be destructive. He'd probably start chewing, tearing, clawing, pissing, pooping everywhere. Because that's what cats do when they're very upset about territorial things. So we don't want to put him into that situation. We know his personality type. We know how he is. Why would you purposefully put your cat or pet of any kind into a situation that you know is going to upset them and make them uncomfortable? That would not be right, would it? You would not be a good pet parent if you're doing that. We're not opposed to getting more pets in the future, when sadly Jasper won't be with us forever, and in the future, yeah, we're definitely open. We've talked about maybe a dog or something like that, but not when we have Jasper Kitty. Okay? I'm Just Ken did a super chat. He says, Nintendo leaked tons of games for the rest of the year. I can send it over to you on Twitter and look at it on stream. We are done. The show is over. So maybe for tomorrow, if you want to send me an email, you could try tweeting me, but email is probably more effective. Send me the link. But yeah, I could look at that for tomorrow's show. But there you go. Cody Wise also just did a super chat. Thank you to Cody Wise. I appreciate that. You're the latest super chatter. I can get you up on the leaderboard. When's the next time I think I'll be playing something retro? Well, Turtle Dude, you missed it. Earlier, I got a $1 tip of someone claiming that every game I'm playing is 10 years old, despite the fact I'm not playing a single game that's 10 years old. So that was fun. I have no idea. Right now, I have no plans to jump into anything super retro. We are doing an Indies marathon at the end of the month. That'll be variety. But outside of that, you know, we're working on what we're working on, right? What? I Have No Enemy says he went to Game Pass. They listed Another Crab's Treasure under the relaxing category. I think someone who works at Xbox that has never played the game. They don't know what they're talking about. That's funny. How do I determine bleh. How do I determine what games are good for day streams versus night streams? It all depends. If it's a narrative-based game and it's lengthy, usually you start it off as a day stream and you see how it does. If it ends up losing traction, then it becomes more of a chill night stream. Typically, lengthy JRPGs always end up being chill night streams. Multiplayer depends on the game. For example, Street Fighter 6 did really well as day streams for a while. Then when the hype died down, it became a good night stream, correct? It really all depends on the situation. Like right now, I really like having Fallout 4 as a day stream, but if interest continues to wane because Fallout Mania is ending, then maybe it would become a night stream. I don't know. We'll have to see. Hello, Game Boy. How's it going today? Good to have you here. Am I excited for the new Fatal Fury? We'll see when it comes out. I'm sorry, I just don't really have faith in the more indie-style fighting games anymore. Like, they just don't get traction. You know, there's a group of people who will play them, but they don't really get as much focus or hype. I've tried playing them. People don't really care. So, you know, kind of sticking to the bigger ones for me. Jade, how you doing? He says, I fell asleep today. I'm just going to chat. Okay, Jade, if you're feeling sleepy, it's all good. It's all good, man. It's good to just have you here. All right, guys. I think let's end the show. All right, we can get set up here for another Crab's Treasure. Thank you all. Great show today. Thank you for the early support on the stream as always. I really appreciate that. And tomorrow we'll talk all about how the control change in Another Crab's Treasure affected stuff, hopefully for the better. Maybe some news updates and stuff. And tomorrow, remember, we return to a full day of gameplay streaming unlike today. Thanks for a great show. See you on Tuesday. Peace out.